top of all that land because it ain't growing no more of that. But wait, excuse me, who was this that just walked? Otis Rolley, what are you doing here?
I was
What a
invited.
wonderful surprise.
It's good to be here.
But did you know that Mr. Conway was here? Because we got now two. The word on the street is that you're running for mayor too. Is that?
Well, the most important word on the street is making sure that our people are empowered. And so I would hate to move the conversation away from.
Oh, but we want to talk about this conversation.
Okay.
It's not going to go too far.
Oh, excellent. But
I
part
want
of
to talk about the clergy.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about.
1998, I would not have been elected clerk of the court if it had not been for the clergy. I'm wondering what happened since 1998, where they had so much control over who was elected in our community that they sort of stepped back and got out of politics.
Okay, that was a real nice move, Frank.
Segue.
Now, come on, Otis Rolley. What's the word? Why do you want to be mayor?
Well, I want to be mayor for the same reason that I've wanted to serve my 12 years here in the city of Baltimore. I'm frustrated. I've been serving through the Department of Housing and Community Development, through the Planning Department, in the mayor's office, and I'm frustrated with what these two gentlemen to my right and left are very much excited about and empowering and organizing people about. How do we make sure that everybody in the city of Baltimore is actually part of the process of prosperity, of health? We look at their community, we look at my community, and we know that Baltimore is not going to move forward until African Americans are part of the process. We talk a lot about poverty alleviation and almost nothing about wealth creation.
Okay, let's get down to the get down. Frank M. Conway, Otis Rolley, Kathy Pugh, Kwesi Mfume, Stephanie Rollins Blake. Frank ain't falling out this time. He fell out 3 times. Would you fall out if the need be?
I would fall out if there was a better, more qualified candidate. I would fall out if there was somebody else willing to die for Baltimore.
I see both of y'all teaming up and taking these preachers. It sounds like y'all just won the whole election right there.
I think the reality is this, for me, it's not about politics. I'm not a politician. I'm not a career politician. I give the utmost respect to the gentleman to my left. I've never run for elected office. I have served the city as a public servant, and I want to do it in this elected capacity.
Like I said, if I were running for office, I'd be hollering at these two reverends as soon as this show is over and be going at lunch with Frank.
Well, the benefit here is that I have worked with at least one of these reverends previously. I know the capacity here, and the comment that a lot has not necessarily been happening since '98 is not necessarily true. There have been a lot of people getting a lot of attention. There have been a lot of people in their headlines, but then there have been those who have been doing the work. And I'm pleased to be sitting
But what
around.
are you going to do? Tell me, give me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about this major deficit that we have in this city? What are you going to do about education? What are you going to do about jobs? The basic stuff. What makes you so different? What are you going to do
Well, let me start with the deficit. First of all, the city has a lot of assets that they don't necessarily tap into. The reality is, if you are not looking to run for Congress, Senate, governor, or president, you can actually access a lot of those assets to the benefit of the city. I'm not running for anything else. I'm not trying to be anything else, right? And so there's a difference there. There is wealth in terms of how much we own, in terms of property, as was previously mentioned, in terms of land, both within the city and outside the city. We control the water for the region, but we don't act like it. And the reason why we don't act like it, because we're fearful, because we want those votes from Baltimore County and from other areas when we're thinking about other offices. Daley in Chicago, Menino in Boston, Bloomberg in New York. What's great about those individuals is that they only believe that their city is the center of the universe. They're not trying to be president. They're not trying to be anything else. And so they do what's in the best interest of their city. I wouldn't tap those assets for the best interest of our city. And I think we can do that. We own a heck of a lot, both in the city and outside the city. But we don't galvanize those resources. I also would like to work not just with these gentlemen, but with other faith-based institutions within the city to really do real community and economic development to employ the people of our city. My master's thesis at MIT was on the role of faith-based institutions in promoting and sustaining local economies. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'd like to do it in the capacity in which I could help my people in elected office. And I think I can with their help and with the help of others who are listening in today.
Well, so
May
now,
I ask a question? Let me make a statement.
oh, here's a new interview. Let me back up.
I think more of you than most of the others that are talking about running.
I appreciate that, sir.
But do you know of anyone that has ever become mayor from a non-political base in Baltimore City?
Do I know of anyone that's become mayor from a non-political base?
Yeah.
I do not. And the benefit...
So it hadn't happened. It hasn't happened.
It has not happened, no. Yeah, but great
There's always
things.
a first,
There's
though.
always a first, and the benefit also. I think the citizens
There's
of
always a
Baltimore.
last, too.
There's always a first. There's always the last, and at least my Bible tells me the last can become first. And I do believe that this
You gonna
city,
preach now.
this city. I'm not going to preach, but I do believe that this city though is ready.
I'm gonna
primed and
collect the
ready.
offering.
This city is primed and ready for someone who is not necessarily hooked into any political base. My base is my church. My base is my family. My base are my friends and the individuals who I work with and struggle with. So I'm not beholden to any political party. I'm a Democrat, born and raised, but I'm not beholden to anyone. I'm not beholden to anyone except for my Christ and my
I
wife.
just told you I like you better than the rest.
Mr. Rowley,
Yes.
are you going to help make some new black millionaires?
The city of short answer is yes. The city of
I'm
Baltimore,
glad.
the city of Baltimore will never prosper as long as there is single-digit African American wealth within the city. It is completely ridiculous that African Americans are not participating in a very real and substantive way in terms of the wealth in this city. So if we can talk a long time about, yeah, we want some affordable housing, or we want a couple of jobs. Well, the reason why I got excited when I saw over 700 individuals, and I was out there, got pictures to show. I was excited because I said, you know what? All the TV cameras aren't here. There was one station to my knowledge that was there. All the TV cameras weren't there, but they didn't need to be there because the people were there. And so I think we're at a point in our history where the political base, in terms of, you're not supported by this person or that person. Last time I checked, in terms of my credit, the reality is this: you need a cosigner when your credit ain't right. I don't necessarily need anybody to co-sign for me. My credit is right in terms of my work. And I think as long as I tie in with the right individuals, not necessarily the quote-unquote connected individuals, but the right individuals, those people who are doing things for this city, who are struggling in the streets, who are struggling in the boardrooms, who are tired of being the only African-American around the boardroom, who are tired of being the only African-American at a certain job, who are tired of being the only African-American around a cabinet seat, a table. I think those individuals will say enough is enough and Baltimore can prosper. And that's not being anti-white or being pro-black, it's being pro-Baltimore.
Good
Do
deal.
you have a
watching
relationship
people on
with